Over the years, I've worked with the best sales professionals and sales teams on the planet, and we've perfected an account planning framework, a template that is proven. Now, it's also very focused on getting to the essence of what we're trying to do with an account plan. Build relationships, identify strategic initiatives that we can solve, and build an action plan. So I want to walk you through the template, and it's in slide form, so you'll see the slides pop up, and then you can use this template when you are sitting down with your team, or when you're recording your account plan, or when you're creating your plan and sharing it with your team in a huddle. Let's go through it. So first, it's important that we build out an account plan snapshot. So what do we know about the account? Who are the key executives? What's their current revenue? So there's a snapshot that is so important. Just fill it out so we've got, an executive overview of the account. So that's number one. Number two, then after you've done your research, and remember, beginner's mind, you may not have all the answers. That's why you're bringing your team together. Want you to complete a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, let me explain what SWOT means, because different people think it means different things. Strengths. What are the company's strengths? What are they good at? Are they making money? How are they dominating in their market? What are people saying about them? How are their products, right? Those are the strengths, company strengths. The account that you're targeting, the account that you're building an account plan for, the strengths. Then weaknesses. What are the areas of weakness for the company? Maybe there's been some bad press. Maybe a competitor of theirs is beating them in certain markets. Maybe they've got huge attrition right now and you've read that on Glassdoor or wherever. Strengths and weaknesses. It's a SWOT. Then what we want you to do is list out opportunities. What are some opportunities for the company? And you can learn a lot from what people are saying about them in the press. Ideally, you've also had a bunch of conversations with some of the decision makers and your champion and some influencers, even maybe some of their customers. Research here is critical. And so I'm spending some time here on SWOT because, this slide done right can be magical for you and your team because it'll align you around what you're trying to accomplish. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and then threats. What are some threats? What are some industry threats? Competitive threats? I love building out a SWOT analysis for the accounts that I'm trying to partner with, that I'm selling to. And ultimately, when I sit down with an executive, I like popping up that SWOT analysis, that single slide, and saying and sharing, hey, here's a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, threats, opportunities. Here's the research we've done. What do you think? I've been on calls and in rooms with executives where we're tweaking the strengths, weaknesses, threats, opportunities together. Home run. After you've done the SWOT analysis, then we want you to kind of start listing out top initiatives. Right? You can learn this from your research, from their website. Ideally, you're learning this by having conversations. So list out the top initiatives and fill in the template. List out, who are these initiatives for and why is it important? Maybe attach some dates to it so we can start, aligning with compelling events and some trigger events. Hugely strategic. Notice, we're doing research. We're looking at the account. Haven't done a deal review. We're not really at a forecast stage now. We're doing research. We're building an account strategy, an account plan. So after we've done the top initiatives, then a good place to go is to build a business unit initiatives analysis. So I want you to, in your mind, visualize, a whiteboard. And, you're with your team and you're collaborating and you're listing out, all the business units or the departments of the company. So just start listing them out: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then start filling in information around each business unit. How many employees do they have? What are their goals? Who's the executive that owns it? When's the last time we've made contact with that executive? So we're building out this business unit analysis so you can ultimately get to a point where you're prioritizing your time, where you're prioritizing your team's time, where you're prioritizing where you're going to invest the resources to go execute the account strategy and the account plan that you're creating based on all your great research and collaboration you're doing with your team. Then we want you to build out an organizational chart. This is something that's critical to do. There are a ton of templates out there, but keep it simple. Build out a chart, get a sense of the political map, who has power, who reports to who. You can use a tool if you have one. Org charts are done in a bunch of different ways. Draw it on a whiteboard, do it in a slide. However you want to do it, go crazy, but make sure there's an org chart in your account plan. The next step is to develop a connect the dots strategy. Let me explain what that means. We've gone through, we've done the SWOT analysis, we've identified top initiatives. We have a sense of the executives and which executives own which initiatives. We've also built an org chart. Now we want to figure out who in our company is connected, or in our network is connected with people inside of the account that we're targeting. And let's start mapping executives to executives so we can build a connect the dots strategy. Why go cold? Let's go warm. Let's ask for referrals. And so let's be mindful about who we should be going after and what's our best approach to go after those people. When I say go after, I mean build relationships, do the outreach. We're doing it with research, and we're doing it with intent and purpose, and we're being mindful about who knows who. It's hugely strategic. Remember, these are strategic accounts. Then what we want to do is build out an opportunity map. What does that mean? So we've done all this work. Strengths, weaknesses, threats, opportunities. We have a good sense of their top initiatives. We know the org chart. We know where power lives. We've even got a connect the dots strategy. Think of how much work we've done. Now we want to start writing down and saying, where does opportunity live for us? Let's start, projecting a little bit and saying, here's some deals that we can go after based on what we've learned from the account. Now, I'm not suggesting that this account plan is going to get filled in one sit down and in one go. It may take weeks to build with your team. Really depends on the size of the account and the size of the opportunity in front of you. But the steps are important, and this proven template works. The last one is build an action plan. Who's connecting with who? Who's doing what? Remember, we do have the salesperson who's running a point here on the account, but it's a team. We win as a team, and we want everybody to have a role. So let's start making a list of the executives that we want to reach out to. Let's get really specific. This action plan is what is the difference between an account plan that is developed and not actioned, and an account plan that is actioned and turns into those bigger deals that I talked about. If we can build an action plan that is followed up on, that has distributed ownership across the team and across our network, and that is actioned, then we're going to see the results that we expect. Let me recap the account plan template for us. Number one, there's an executive overview. Number two, SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, threats, opportunities. Number three, we have a top initiatives chart where we're identifying the company's top initiatives that we've validated, hopefully with some key executives. Number four, business unit analysis. I love that one. It's where we roll up our sleeves and build a true map of the organization. The next one is the connect the dots strategy. And then we do an opportunity map where we start listing out, ballparks, some deals that we're gonna, kind of start thinking about. So directionally, we know what this can look like in terms of a bigger deal. And then the action plan. And the action plan is critical, that there are owners and timeline and dates. That is the account plan. So if you embrace account planning as a professional, if you work with your team to execute it, and if you ultimately are collaborating with your champion and your customer to also fill in the blanks, home run. You will be strategic. You will close bigger deals faster. You will establish amazing relationships. And yes, you will get on stage to celebrate your amazing success as a rock star sales professional.